Ladies and gentlemen, the power of daily self-education. Every sunrise is a second chance, not to compete with the world, but to grow within yourself. Daily self-education is not just about books or classrooms. It's about listening to your heart, your mistakes, your dreams. Even when the world is silent, your soul whispers. Each day, give yourself 5 minutes to learn about kindness, resilience, or even failure. This is how we evolve, not in leaps, but in brave little steps. You are not behind, you are becoming. There is a quiet kind of power that lives in the spaces between our routines. It doesn't come with applause. It doesn't arrive with fanfare. It often starts with a question whispered within us. A feeling that maybe, just maybe, we can be more than we were yesterday. That quiet power is daily self-education. So many times we wait for big events to transform us. A new year, a new job, a new relationship, a new degree. But the truth is, transformation does not wear a crown. It walks barefoot, slowly, every single day. It walks beside us in our pain, in our failures, in our small wins. And it invites us to sit beside it, not to be perfect, but to learn. I want to tell you something today that I have learned through the shattered glass of expectations and the soft strength of hope. Life does not owe us growth. We owe it to ourselves, not once in a lifetime, but every day. And that is where daily self-education becomes not just important, but essential. Because when the world stops teaching you, you must continue teaching yourself. When the doors close, you must still seek the windows. And when the light goes out, you must learn how to become your own lamp. Education for most of us is something we were told happens in schools, colleges, or universities. A classroom, a teacher, a certificate, but no one really tells you that the most powerful education comes after you walk out of those gates. The most powerful lessons do not come with books. They come with broken hearts, lost opportunities, silent mornings, lonely nights, and those small moments when you choose to try again. Daily self-education is the promise you make to yourself that you will not let a single day pass without learning something. It could be a word, a thought, a mistake, a quote, a failure, or even a moment of silence that teaches you about your own depth. It could be listening to someone with a different opinion. It could be sitting with a journal and asking yourself, what did I do today that helped me grow? When you dedicate yourself to learning something every day, no matter how small, you begin to change. Not because the world around you changes, but because your perspective widens. You begin to see meaning where others see routine. You begin to ask questions where others accept noise. And slowly, you start to shape yourself into someone who doesn't just exist but lives with purpose. You do not need a library to educate yourself. You need curiosity. You do not need a schedule. You need consistency. You do not need approval. You need honesty with yourself, because daily self-education is not about being smarter than others. It is about being more aware of yourself. It is about understanding what you believe in and why. It is about unlearning things that no longer serve you and learning things that align with who you want to be. Some days, education will come to you through pain. When something you believed in falls apart, you learn what resilience feels like. Other days, it comes through joy, a meaningful conversation, a moment of kindness, a book that speaks to your soul, a video that makes you cry, and many times it will come in silence, when you are alone with your thoughts and you begin to reflect. In a world that moves so fast, pausing to educate yourself feels like rebellion, but it is the most beautiful kind, because it tells the world that you are not here just to survive. You are here to grow. You are not here just to follow the noise. You are here to create your own voice. And that voice becomes stronger each time you choose to learn. Each time you choose to improve, even by 1%, We live in a time where information is everywhere. But wisdom is not, because wisdom comes not just from consuming information, but from processing it, questioning it, and connecting it to your own experience. Daily self-education is where information meets reflection, and that is where transformation begins. It is not easy, I know that. Some mornings you wake up with the weight of the world pressing on your chest. Some nights you fall asleep with doubts screaming in your head. There are days when the simplest thing, like getting out of bed or smiling, feels like a battle. And on those days, self-education may simply look like this: I made it through. I learned that I am stronger than I thought. That is enough, that is powerful. We must stop measuring learning in certificates. We must start measuring it in self-awareness. In how we treat others, in how we speak to ourselves, in how we respond to challenges. That is the kind of education that builds character, not just careers. And that kind of education only comes when we commit to learning every single day. You are not too old to learn. You are not too broken to change. You are not too far gone to begin again. Every day is a classroom. Every moment is a lesson, and you, my friend, are both the student and the teacher. You choose what you take from life and what you give back. I often say that we must turn our wounds into wisdom, and I say it because I have lived it. When life pushes you down, you have two choices. Either stay there and become a prisoner of your circumstances, or rise slowly, painfully, and choose to learn from what tried to break you. That is not easy, but that is where the power lies. There are people who will tell you that you need a plan, a mentor, a system. And yes, those things help, but the real journey begins when you become your own mentor, when you sit with your truth, when you hold yourself accountable, when you look in the mirror and say, I don't know everything, but I am willing to learn. That is courage. That is daily self-education. I have learned that you don't need to read 10 books a month to be wise. Sometimes reading one paragraph with full attention can open your heart. Listening to one person's story with empathy can change how you see the world. Writing one honest sentence in your journal can make you discover your deepest fear. Small actions. Consistent learning, that is how change begins. Some days you will feel like you're not making any progress. You'll feel stuck. But remember, this learning is not always visible. It happens quietly under the surface. Like roots growing beneath a tree, you don't see it, but one day it shows in your strength, in your peace, in your ability to love yourself, in your refusal to give up. So ask yourself today, what did I learn about myself? What did I unlearn? What am I still holding on to that I need to let go of? What fear did I face? What truth did I finally accept? These are the real tests, and you are allowed to fail. You are allowed to stumble, but you are not allowed to stop learning. Because learning is living, and to stop learning is to stop evolving. I want you to promise yourself something today, not for anyone else, but for your own soul. That you will be your own student every day. That you will find lessons in pain, in love, in silence, in struggle. That you will never underestimate the power of what you are becoming. You are not a finished book. You are a work in progress. A beautiful, messy, growing story, and every day you get to write a new sentence. Choose to make it wise. Choose to make it kind. Choose to make it brave. That is the power of daily self-education. It doesn't make you perfect. It makes you real, it makes you resilient, it makes you human, and it teaches you the most important lesson of all, that you are enough. Not because you know everything, but because you are willing to learn. Thank you.